Hello, I'm Reverend Dr. Jenny Smith, and I wanted to speak to you today about anxiety. Anxiety is an emotion that many of us have been experiencing in far greater amounts in recent days. Want to kind of help you understand what anxiety is and then give us some toolkits for how we can cope with our anxiety in order to seek to live lives that are healthy, even in the midst of days that are a bit more stressful, or maybe a lot more stressful than is typical. So anxiety is an emotion characterized by feelings of tension when you're having worried thoughts, and usually also associated with physical changes or experiences. Sometimes people will say, all this is going on in my body, but is that just all in my head? Is that not real? Know that anxiety is very real. It's actually a noun. It's a thing. It is a real holistic experience that involves both what we're feeling in our minds and in our bodies. Anxiety is caused or driven by uncertainty. So you can kind of understand why anxiety is up as we're living through a year of pandemic, as our nation is experiencing such strife. Anxiety is driven by uncertainty. When we're not really sure what's going to happen next, where we're in that perpetual state of wondering, what's the next bad news? When will the ball drop? Anxiety can be triggered by an imminent threat, by something that pops up completely out of the blue, which is somehow dangerous. I experience great anxiety when my gas light comes on my dashboard, especially if I'm in a place where I can't get to a gas station quickly. That's something that kind of pops up, and our anxiety is actually a gift that tells us we need to take action. Something needs to change. We need to respond. But often anxiety is a cumulative experience. So over the last couple months, most likely you have experienced some cumulative anxiety as things have changed in your workplace. Things have changed about how you educate your children. Things have been stressful about seeking to avoid illness. The uncertainty of our days has continued over weeks and now months. And so there's this accumulation of anxiety. Anxiety can also, in these days, be caused by a sense of being out of control or not being able to somehow change the things that we're concerned about. I know I have some anxiety in this season about the education of my children. I feel somewhat powerless in knowing what is best in order to educate them, as I'm concerned for the virus and also for their long-term education. Some of your current anxiety might be in the acknowledgement that we can't control some of the big stuff that is going on. So anxiety can present in a lot of different ways. And you might be wondering, am I having anxiety or perhaps another mental health or physical health reality? Well, no, it's often hard to tell. But anxiety is this holistic experience in your body, your emotions, and your spirit. Anxiety can feel like tightness in your chest, though of course you always want to consider if that is a physical illness as well. Sometimes with anxiety our pulse may race. Other times we might feel profoundly fatigued. We just don't have energy to go again. Anxiety can make it hard to fall asleep if your mind is racing, or hard to get back asleep if you wake up with 100 thoughts at hand. Sometimes with anxiety, particularly kind of a surge of anxiety, all of the blood might leave your fingers or your toes and rush towards your heart and your lungs. When this happens, you might feel lightheaded or tingly in your extremities. It can be hard with anxiety to focus on the work at hand. I know sometimes I'll be at work trying to focus on a project and just realizing that my mind is in many other places. Anxiety can also change our emotions. It can make us angry or snappy or frustrated or scared. as with all wellness matters, if these anxiety kind of symptoms are impacting your health, if they're making your stomach hurt regularly, if they're making it such that you can't sleep or get through a day, your typical routine, then it might be time to seek help from a doctor or a counselor. Several times recently, my family experienced tremendous loss, and so I called my counselor, knowing that my anxiety, the things I needed to cope with, was above what I could process myself. And so I reached out for help. And I encourage you to do the same. If you find yourself really struggling, hard to sleep, hard to process, hard to do your work or enjoy your life. But there are also some strategies which I want to offer to you today, which I have found helpful in my life and in my work with others in times of anxiety. The goals of these strategies are to lower the baseline anxiety, to lower that accumulation of stress so that we are in a place where we can process and live healthfully. These can be exercises that you do regularly, kind of preemptively. They can also be exercises you go to when you're feeling your anxiety rise. Think of it kind of like what you need after a hard workout. I'll confess, it's been a little while since I've had a really hard workout, but if you work out really hard, and it's a good idea to do that, it's one of my 2021 resolutions. If you work out really hard, you're gonna build up lactic acid in your muscles, and you don't wanna just stop. You would cool down, you would take a walk, you would stretch, you would drink water, you would help your body to process those chemicals. Likewise, when we're experiencing anxiety, we need some strategies to help our body cool down, to process, to recover and return to a healthy baseline. So here are some strategies for your toolkit. First, consider the input in your life. We want to stay informed. In these days, we have to stay informed for our health in order to know what's going on. But we want to avoid obsessively checking the news or letting the news become the background noise of our lives. Understand that whether you're focused on it or not, the words which come into your consciousness, the images which you see, they must be processed. Try to eliminate the background noise. If you're not actively watching a show, turn it off. Allow your body and mind space to process, or perhaps intentionally choose background noise which brings you joy, the music that you love that makes you dance or laugh, or that calms you and restores your peace. Also know that emotions are contagious, so be wise about who you spend time with. Consider the voices that you are listening to. If the commentator on your television or on your radio is extraordinarily anxious or angry, that's going to impact your emotions and could likely increase your anxiety. Consider the people that you process with. Are they persons that listen, that help you to calm, that help you to use your rational mind? Or are they people that you get spun up with and increase your anxiety as you talk? Also consider in your toolkit the activities you enjoy. We need space to play, to heal, to laugh. Whether it's sewing or soccer, hiking or baking, include in your regular daily activities things that just make you happy. In this winter, I am ordering seeds for my garden because it just makes me happy. Focus also on things that you can control. If anxiety stems from the things that you can't control, and there's too much of that right now, focus on some things each day you can control. I've had a lot of people tell me it lowers their anxiety to clean their house. If this is your reality, give me a call, because I would welcome you at my house to clean any day if that will make you feel better. I think what's behind that though is that something we can control. We can see that we've done something. So clean a closet, clean out the garage, not if it stresses you, but if it helps you feel like you've accomplished something, you've controlled something. Perhaps you can write a letter or plant a garden when springtime comes. Something you can control. All the more if it's something you can finish, that will be a double win in this time when we feel like we're never finished. Get out in nature. Do you know that your physiology, your blood pressure and heart rate actually change when you're surrounded by trees? I'm looking at Pastor Ian right now, and he is doubting this reality, but it is so true. So even in the winter, can you get outside for 20 minutes? Just about every night when I come home from work, John and I are putting on our hats and we're walking at the reservoir. It changes my body, my mind, and my spirit. Get out there in nature. Friends, important to consider as well is how you're using substances. If you are saying, gosh, I need a drink, or I think I'm gonna need a sleeping pill to go to sleep tonight, if those substances haven't been prescribed to you, take stock, be careful. In this time of heightened anxiety, and we'll talk about depression another day, we want to be really careful about how we use our substances. An easy way to check yourself is if you can't go a day without it, it's probably negatively impacting your well-being. Talk to your doctor. Find a path towards wellness. Move. Exercise, walk, stretch, dance, whatever gets your blood flowing. Just like that lactic acid post-workout, our bodies literally need to move in order to process stress hormones. If we don't move, they just keep building up. So work them out with whatever kind of movement is healthy for you. We might wonder, did Jesus feel anxious? That is an interesting thought, considering his perfection, considering his closeness to God the Father. But what we do know is that some days there were crowds pressing in on Jesus, and he knew himself well enough that he would leave those heightened places and go away to pray. Claim moments of quiet. Claim space to pray, to be in conversation with the God who made you. This will help you process life and find hope and connectivity with your life source, your God. Any of these strategies can help. I encourage you to practice them and see which are most effective for you. Practice them often to lower that buildup of anxiety. And when you're feeling anxious, go to them quickly. Take a quick walk in the middle of the workday, or stop and say a prayer while you're at the traffic light. Any of these can be useful in lowering your anxiety, restoring your wellness, helping you have more peace and joy. I want to close this conversation with an exercise which could be helpful in moments when you are feeling your anxiety rising. They help to restore our calm. They can be used regularly to help lower that systemic anxiety, help lower that baseline of stress, or a go-to when you're feeling more anxious. The goal in this exercise is to become present, to live just in this one moment, present with yourself and present with God, to claim the wholeness that we can feel in a space where God is fully with us, and to allow for a moment the worries of the outside world, the troubles of tomorrow, to be set aside, set on the shelf, so that you can be fully present with God in the present moment. So to do this exercise, you're gonna sit down, you're gonna put your feet firmly on the ground. So you can go ahead and do that, or you might wanna watch this whole thing and then come back to it when you are in a good mind place to do it. So sit down and put your feet firmly on the ground and focus on your feet. resting on that firm earth. You are grounded. You are safe. Place your hands open on your lap. You are open to God's presence, to the healing that God can bring. Now, bring your shoulders up, raise them up tight and tense towards your ears, and you're going to feel this tension in the back of your neck, tightness even in your back. Hold them there and then release. Release your shoulders, shrug them back, and allow them to rest low and loose. You're releasing that tension that was penned up in your neck. Release the stress you've carried in those shoulders. Now take a deep breath in and allow your shoulders to rise just a bit with that breath. Hold it for a moment and then exhale slowly, deeply. Allow your shoulders to fall even looser than before, releasing that tension entirely. Enjoy for a moment just how you're no longer carrying the tension in your neck and shoulders. Then bring your hands up gently. Place one on your chest and another on your belly. Breathe deeply. If you can, breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Feel your chest rise with that restorative breath filling your lungs. Your lungs are full. And then enjoy the releasing of that air. You're filling your lungs with oxygen. You're filling your lungs with energy. And then you're releasing the carbon dioxide, all that has been penned up within you. You can continue in that breathing. In through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Continue in that space, just breathing. Nothing else to figure out, nothing else to discern. With the next breath, pull that oxygen in, and then imagine the oxygen flowing through your shoulders, down your arms, all the way to your fingertips. Restoring your arms, your hands, and your fingers with that life source, that oxygen. As you exhale, release from your arms any tension held there. Breathe in, breathe out. With the next breath, invite that oxygen to come in through your lungs and then move down through your hips, through your legs, all the way to your feet. Let your toes dance in your shoes or upon the floor. Feel the energy that that breath inspires. And then allow any tension held in your lower body to be exhaled. If you were holding your hands still on your chest, you might want to place them now back in your lap. Open them. Consider the lightness that you feel. Continue breathing as long as you need to, enjoying that breath. Breathing in the restoring Spirit of God and releasing the worries of the day. Breathing in the beauty of the moment, exhaling the concerns of tomorrow. When you are ready, release yourself. Release yourself to return to the present moment. Consider again your feet on the floor. You're grounded. You're safe. Continue to breathe. Continue to enjoy God's presence as you return to your day. Or maybe, if you're lucky, as you crawl under the covers and embrace a restful night's sleep. Remember that you can return to this breath any moment that you need to. God's breath is always present. Just breathe in deeply and welcome that regeneration. Friends, no doubt these are anxious days. God has given you that experience of anxiety to help you know that your body, your mind, and your spirit are in need of a respite. So claim every opportunity to heal, to cope, to breathe. We're in this together. Know that I am breathing deeply all of these days, and we're here when you need us. Just reach out when you need a little extra help coping. God bless and keep you. Amen.